or if somebody was observing your classroom, describe what it was like to be in your classroom?
First of all, they would knew that they would see there was a class that was structured because most of our kids come from environments where they don't have structure. So they would come into the classroom. They knew they had to come in and look at the board and see what needed to be done, and they had to follow through. And that was letting them know, teaching them how to do things in a social, acceptable way. Yes, I was strict, but I was strict, but I had tolerance. So I had everything set up so it had to go a certain way, and that's the way. A lot of them had to get used to that type of environment. Someone in control that could manage their classroom, but still having tolerance.
So you had like a routine that they knew,
And a
like come in, look
routine,
at the board, like an agenda or something like
right? They
that.
had agenda. If they came in and did that, those kids in middle school, I would give them a ticket. And because I gave them, they would save their tickets. And at the end of the week, a lot of people said don't do that, but that makes a difference. And they would have a drawing. I would give them a drawing, even give them a pencil or a pen. They would do that for that. They would look forward. There was something for them to look forward to, an incentive. But they knew in my classroom that it was managed. So they can't get in that classroom because they knew it was a consequence to anything that they did. I didn't let anyone get away with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They were all treated equal. If you did something good, I rewarded you. If you did something that wasn't supposed to be done in a certain way, there was a consequence. And they knew, and they learned that, and they respected that. Some of them sometimes might challenge it, but then you have to find out what's going on with them that day when they came in. Usually it's something that comes from home. And so I would not, because I observed them, I would know them. I had an open mind to them. I could see when something was off, and I would deal with that student, when they first came in.
Mm-hmm. So you believed in routines because you knew that, like a daily routine that they knew was going to happen every day because a lot of kids that you working with came from like an environment maybe that wasn't
Right.
it was inconsistent. So you
Right,
try to be
right,
consistent.
right. They did anything they wanted to do, but they knew there when they entered my classroom, they had to come in with displaying a certain behavior, and if they wanted to be involved in what was going on in the classroom, or I had to deal with what was going on with them and get to the bottom of it.
Right. How did you how did you connect? Because we know that building relationships and connecting with the students in your classroom is very important. What are some things you did to connect with the students in your classroom?
First of all, I would listen to them. When you listen to people, then when they realize that I trusted them because I listened to them. You got to listen to people what's going on with them. When they realize that I would recognize that I would listen to them, and then would deal with what was going on. And even if I had to deal with it with the consequence, they knew I was the same all the time. So I built up that trust with them, and they respected that. And it just to find some, because I knew some of them came from different kind of homes. They had different learning styles, different things. But when you build that trust up, and the people know that you're the same all the time.
So consistency, being consistent.
Consistent. And they knew I was like that. They knew Miss Truth. They knew how I was, and they knew what they had to deal with when they came in the classroom, and they respected that, because that was a class. A lot of people come to my classroom and say, why is this classroom calm? Why is this going on? Because they knew the routine, what they had to do when they entered my classroom. Not that I was so mean. It was just that it was just structure, and which helped those kids calm down and be able to be taught. The classroom. That's classroom management.
Are some of the things that you use in your classroom kind of like some of the things you did with your own kids, like consistency